If this story stirred something in your heart, give it a like, share your thoughts below, and subscribe to Revenge Forge, where every story reminds us that pain can lead to power. Her heels clicked past midnight, but not toward our bed. I stood in our foyer, her phone's glow burning a text into my soul: Derek, you're my fire. That was the moment I stopped being her husband. My name's Brent Kessler, and I'm a 40-year-old financial advisor at a wealth management firm in Raleigh, North Carolina. Life was a calculated win, steady, sharp hours. Tiffany, my wife of 9 years, was a 32-year-old interior designer with a laugh that could melt steel. We had it wired: a colonial house in Hayes Barton, Sunday brunches at local bistros, and nights lost in jazz bars. My firm handled $45 million in client portfolios, pulling in $165,000 a year for me. Tiffany's design contracts netted $90,000, enough for her to collect vintage art and for us to plan a Napa Valley escape. No kids yet, but we'd named a future son Miles over whiskey. Our crew guys like my wingman Vance and Tiffany's confidant Elise saw us as untouchable, a power couple. Until the cracks bled through. It started subtle, like a shadow on a ledger. Tiffany's client meetings ran late, her perfume bolder, her kisses fleeting. Her phone, once an open ledger, now stayed locked, buzzing at strange hours. Just a deadline she'd purr, trailing her fingers across my chest. I bought it. She was my Tiffany, radiant, loyal mine. But doubt is a slow venom. Her smiles turned rehearsed, her excuses too polished. She'd slip out for consults in dresses that screamed seduction, not business. The first shock hit 6 months ago. I was balancing a $4 million client portfolio, eyes glazed from market charts, when Tiffany texted she'd be late a design pitch. I got home at 9 p.m., the house dark, her BMW gone. Odd, I called. Voicemail. At 11 p.m. she swept in, lips glossy, hair tousled. Client drinks ran long, she said, her voice like silk. Her breath carried bourbon, not her usual Chardonnay. I nodded, ignoring the knot in my gut. Work, I told myself, just work. But the knots tightened. She started wearing lingerie. I didn't recognize black lace, not my style. Her purse held a bar receipt I'd never seen: $200 for two. Once I caught her whispering into her phone. Not tonight, he's home, before hanging up fast. Who was that? I asked, calm. She laughed, too bright. Elise, stressed about a project. Her eyes dodged mine. I let it slide, but sleep became a stranger. Vance saw it first. We were at a rooftop bar, city lights sprawling below. Tiffany's acting off, he said, voice low. Saw her at a lounge last week, too close with some polished guy. Didn't look like a client. My jaw clenched, but I waved it off. She's networking. Vance raised an eyebrow. Networking doesn't lean that close. His words stuck a splinter I couldn't pull. The dam broke on a humid Wednesday. I'd left the office early, Raleigh's streets shimmering with heat. Tiffany was at a site visit. Her laptop sat on the kitchen counter, a rare mistake. I wasn't prying, not really, but a notification flashed. From Derek Sutter. Subject tonight. My pulse spiked. I clicked. You're a wildfire, Tiff. 8 p.m., the Umstead. That dress slays me. The world tilted. Tiffany, the Umstead. I scrolled, hands shaking. Emails flirty, raw, stretching back months. Derek Sutter, 38, a real estate developer with a $25 million portfolio and a shark's charm. Photos: Tiffany in his penthouse, her lips brushing his jaw. One line seared me: Brent's too buried in numbers to notice. This is ours. My wife. My life. A lie. I didn't yell. I didn't break anything. I saved the emails to a drive, my heart a drum, and locked it in my safe. When Tiffany got home at 10 p.m., heat-soaked and glowing, I played the part. Rough night, I asked, voice smooth. She nodded, kicking off her heels. Yeah, clients are picky. I smiled, but inside I was a furnace, rage, hurt, and something sharper. Resolve. The next week I became a shadow in my own life. I watched her every move. Her laughs were too bright, her excuses too neat. I dug into Derek. His LinkedIn painted a hustler, smooth, ruthless, the kind who'd close a deal and steal your soul. I checked Tiffany's bank app, $3,500 in unexplained transfers, small enough to miss, big enough to sting. To him I wasn't sure, but I was done being blind. Vance pushed me to act. We met at a coffee shop, steam curling from our cups. Confront her, Brent, he said. This ain't you. I shook my head. Not yet. I need a blade, not a fist. He grinned, respecting the fire. That's when I remembered Tiffany's old tablet tucked in a closet. If it held more, I'd have her. Late that night, while Tiffany was at a design consult, I booted it up. No password, careless. Her cloud synced, and there it was, a folder labeled projects. Not design mock-ups. Photos of her and Derek at a yacht club, a speakeasy, his arm around her waist. Captions. You make me feel alive. Her emails to him, I'm falling, Derek. But Brent's too solid. I'm scared. Solid. The word mocked me. I found a hotel receipt, $600 for a weekend. I copied everything, hands steady despite my rage. Anger didn't cloud me, it focused me. I tracked her. Not proud, but I had to know. One night I tailed her client dinner in Vance's truck. She parked at the Umstead, a chic hotel with velvet drapes. Through the window I saw her with Derek, his hand on her thigh, her laugh a knife in my chest. I snapped photos, my grip iron. I wanted to storm in, but I held back. This wasn't about rage. It was about winning. The twist hit at work. I was pitching a $5 million portfolio when my assistant Lila buzzed me. Someone's here, Brent. Says it's urgent. I frowned. Who? She paused. Elise. Tiffany's friend. My gut twisted. Elise. I met her in the lobby, her face pale, eyes darting. Brent. I'm sorry, she whispered, handing me a flash drive. I saw Tiffany with Derek last month. I followed them. It's bad. I took it, voice steady. How bad? She swallowed. He's been in your house, I recorded it. I drove to a park, heat heavy, and plugged in the drive. The video was shaky but brutal. Tiffany and Derek in our living room, her on his lap, their laughter filling my home. Timestamp 3 weeks ago when I was at a client dinner. Elise's voiceover. I didn't want to hurt you, but you need to know. The clip ended with Tiffany's whisper. This is our secret, Derek. Our home. Our life. Defiled. I didn't crumble. I burned. I hired a private investigator, Nora, a no-nonsense ex-cop with a knack for discretion. Cost me $7,000, but I didn't blink. Give me everything, I told her. She nodded. 1 week. While Nora worked, I played the perfect husband. I cooked Tiffany's favorite steak, planned a movie night, kissed her like nothing was wrong. She melted into it, her eyes soft, oblivious. But I saw the lies in every touch. Nora delivered in 6 days. We met at a diner, coffee bitter in the air. Your wife's deep in it, she said, sliding me a folder. Photos Tiffany at Derek's penthouse, their silhouettes in a window. Phone logs, 95 texts in 3 days. A hotel receipt, $800. And a kicker. Derek's email to Tiffany hacked from his account. I'm closing a $10 million deal. Come with me to Miami. Brent's nothing. Miami. The word was a slap. She wasn't just cheating, she was planning to bolt. I thanked Nora, my voice ice. At home, Tiffany was out another meeting. I sat in my study, the folder open, bourbon burning my throat. I wasn't just fighting for me. I was fighting for the man who'd built this life, who'd trusted her. The man she'd betrayed. My firm was hosting a client summit in 10 days, a glitzy event with 200 investors, including Derek's real estate group. Perfect. I'd turned their game into my battlefield. I called Elise. You're coming to the summit, I said. Bring your evidence. She hesitated. Brent, this could ruin her. I smirked. She ruined herself. Next I looped in Vance. You're my eyes, I told him. I need you sharp. He grinned. Let's make 'em bleed, brother. The summit loomed, and I played my role. Tiffany was ecstatic, picking a sapphire dress that hugged her curves. I complimented her, my smile ablaze. She had no idea. Neither did Derek. But I did. And that was power. The summit was my war room, and I was armed to the teeth. Raleigh's convention center pulsed with 200 investors, financial elites, and real estate moguls, their voices a low hum under crystal chandeliers. Tiffany moved through the crowd, her sapphire dress a magnet for every eye. Her charm disarming a hedge fund manager with a smile that once lit my world. Derek Sutter prowled the edges, all sleek confidence, closing deals with a predator's ease. They hadn't spotted me blending into the suits with Vance at my side. Nora's folder burned in my jacket, Elise's flash drive a dagger in my pocket. This wasn't a gala. This was a takedown. Vance downed his scotch, eyes sharp. You ready to torch this, Brent? I met his gaze, jaw set. They started the fire. I'm just bringing the blaze. He nodded, sensing the steel in me. Elise lingered near a marble bar, her face tight, clutching a purse that held her video. Tiffany and Derek in our living room, their betrayal caught in stark clarity. She'd done her part. Now it was time for mine. The evening played out like a high-stakes poker game. Tiffany was the perfect wife, gliding between guests, her laugh a blade I once cherished. Derek schmoozed with developers, his glances at her too bold, too possessive. I sipped bourbon, counting the moves. My firm's summit was a showcase, $45 million in client portfolios, deals like the $6 million wealth plan I'd locked in last month. But tonight wasn't about markets. It was about justice. The program kicked off. My boss, Warren Holt, took the stage touting our firm's vision. Polite claps followed. Then he waved me up. Brent Kessler, our top advisor, has a special insight to share. Tiffany's eyes sparkled with pride, clueless. Derek leaned against a bar, smirking. I stepped to the podium, pulse steady, voice like a razor. Thank you, Warren, I said, scanning the crowd. We're here to celebrate trust, commitment, the ties that bind. Tiffany's smile flickered a shadow of doubt. I plugged the flash drive into the projector. The screen erupted, not with portfolio charts but with Tiffany and Derek. Emails, texts, photos. Her in his penthouse, his hand on her waist, the hotel kiss. And that gut punch line, Brent's too buried in numbers to notice. This is ours. Gasps ripped through the room. Tiffany's glass hit the floor, shattering. Derek's face drained, his charm crumbling. I kept my tone cold, precise. Some ties are woven with lies. Tonight we cut them. I clicked to Derek's email. Come with me to Miami. Brent's nothing. The crowd buzzed, phones flashing as guests recorded. Tiffany gripped a chair, eyes wide with panic. Derek pushed toward the exit, but Vance had tipped off security. They blocked him. I locked eyes with her. Anything to add, Tiffany. Her mouth open, silent. I stepped down the room, parting like a wound. Vance grabbed my arm. You did it, man. Let's go. But the flames weren't out. Outside, Raleigh's night was thick, the city's heat clinging to my skin. Derek was by his Mercedes, cursing, keys slipping. I approached, steps deliberate. Running already, he spun, eyes wild. Kessler, you'll pay for this. I smirked, stepping closer. Threats, that's your play. He lunged, but Vance grabbed his shoulder, pinning him. Cool it, Sutter, you're done. Derek yanked free, glaring. She never loved you. You're nothing. I leaned in, voice low. Then why's she still my wife? He climbed into his car tires, screeching as he fled. Back inside, Tiffany was gone. Elise found me, her voice shaky. She bolted Brent. I tried to stop her. I nodded, adrenaline fading to ice. Let her run. She can't hide. I drove home, the folder and drive on the seat, my mind replaying Tiffany's face, shock, shame, silence. Our house was dark, her BMW absent. I poured bourbon, the burn grounding me. The summit was my opening shot, but this wasn't over. The next morning, my phone lit up. A text from Tiffany. I'm at Elise's. Please, we need to talk. I ignored it. Instead, I called Nora, my PI. Got more. She chuckled. You're a bloodhound, Kessler. Check your inbox. I opened my laptop. A new file, audio from Derek's penthouse caught by a legal bug Nora planted. Tiffany's voice raw. This ends now, Derek. I'm done. Derek's reply, venomous. You walk. I'll burn you. I've got your old design contracts. One call and your business is ash. My grip tightened. Contracts? What the hell? I drove to Elise's, the audio looping in my head. Tiffany opened the door, no makeup, eyes hollow. Brent, I cut her off, raising a hand. Sit. Listen. We sat in Elise's cramped living room, tension choking the air. I played the audio. Tiffany's face crumpled as Derek's threat rang out. What contracts? I demanded. She stared at the floor, voice barely audible. Before we married, I worked for a shady firm. Overbilled clients, faked invoices. Derek was their investor, pulling strings. I got out, but he kept records, said he'd leak them if I left him. My pulse roared. Blackmail. She nodded, tears falling. I thought I could control it. Then it grew. I'm so sorry, Brent. I paced, fury and pity clashing. Why not tell me? She shook her head. I was scared, ashamed. I didn't want you to see me like that. I stopped staring at her. You didn't trust me. That's worse than the affair. Elise hovered in the doorway, silent, her eyes soft with guilt. I walked out, needing space. Tiffany's voice chased me, but I didn't turn back. In my car, I gripped the wheel, mind spinning. Blackmail shady firms. It sounded like a Reddit story's plot too wild for my life. But Tiffany's fear was real. So was Derek's threat. I needed more than her tears. I needed truth. I met Nora at a diner, grease thick in the air. "Sutter's a snake," she said, sliding me a folder. "Those contracts part of a $5 million scam. He's still running it using Tiffany's old signatures to dodge audits." I flipped through forged documents, bank transfers, emails tying Derek to the firm. If it went public, Tiffany could face charges. "Why drag her in?" I asked. Nora sipped coffee. "Control. She's his shield. If she talks, he's exposed. If she stays, he's safe." I leaned back, gears turning. Derek wasn't just a cheater, he was a criminal. And Tiffany, for all her lies, was his pawn. I hated her betrayal, but I saw her trap. Shame locks tighter than chains. I drove to my office, the folder heavy. Lila, my assistant, was there sorting project files. "You look like hell," she said, half smiling. I handed her the folder. "Check this. Tell me it's legit." She scanned it, eyes narrowing. "It's real. This guy's toast if it leaks." The first twist hit like lightning. Lila called at 1 a.m., voice urgent. "Brent, someone's hacked our client database. Tried to flag a $6 million portfolio as fraud, your name's on it." I rushed to the office, the building dark. Lila pulled up the logs. An IP address traced to Derek's real estate group. He wasn't just after Tiffany. He was gunning for me, trying to tank my career. If it stuck, I'd be fired, maybe sued. Lila's eyes blazed. "This asshole's playing dirty." "What's the plan?" I smirked, adrenaline surging. "We play dirtier." I called Nora. "Dig into Derek's accounts. Everything." She laughed. "Your tab's growing, Kessler." I didn't care. This was personal. Nora delivered in 3 days bank records, offshore accounts, emails showing Derek siphoning $700,000 from his firm. Enough to bury him. But I needed a stage, not just evidence. Vance had a lead. "Derek's keynoting a real estate conference next week," he said. "Big players live stream." "Perfect." I nodded. "Let's make it global." I spent days planning. Lila cross-referenced Derek's scams with our database, building an airtight case. Elise kept tabs on Tiffany, who was laying low, unaware of my next move. I didn't want her involved, not yet. The conference was my chance to end Derek, not just for me, but for every life he'd poisoned. The second twist hit like a freight train. Elise called, voice shaking. "Brent, there's something you don't know about Derek. He's not just a developer." I frowned, gripping the phone. "What do you mean?" she swallowed. "He's my ex-husband. We split 5 years ago. He's been obsessed with Tiffany since I introduced them at a charity gala." My blood ran cold. Ex-husband Derek wasn't a random lover. He was a vengeful ghost using Tiffany to settle old scores. I hung up, mind reeling. This wasn't just betrayal. It was a vendetta. I didn't tell Tiffany. Instead, I dug deeper. Nora hacked Derek's old personal email, $300 for a dark web contact, and found messages from years ago, Derek ranting about Elise's new friend Tiffany stealing his spotlight. It explained the blackmail, the intensity, the Miami plan. He didn't just want her. He wanted to destroy me to prove a point. The third twist came from Lila. She called at midnight, voice tense. "Brent, I found something in Derek's hacked emails. He's not alone. Your boss Warren is in on it." I froze. "Warren?" She nodded. "He's been funneling $800,000 through Derek's firm to dodge taxes. If you go down, he's clear." My world tilted. Warren, who'd mentored me, backed my deals, hosted our engagement party. I scanned the emails, Warren directing Derek to flag my portfolio, using me as a scapegoat. If it blew, I'd take the fall, not them. I didn't confront Warren. Too risky. Instead, I built a fortress. Nora pulled Warren's accounts, linking him to Derek's $5 million scam. Lila secured our server, blocking further hacks. By the conference, I had a dossier: Derek's crimes, Warren's betrayal, Elise's past, Tiffany's blackmail. But I needed one more piece. I met Elise at a cafe, rain streaking the windows. "You owe me the truth," I said. "What else do you know?" She hesitated, then spilled. "Tiffany tried to end it last month. Derek threatened to leak her contracts to your firm, not just her clients. He wanted to ruin you both." The fourth twist landed like a bomb. Vance called, voice low. Brent, there's another player. Tiffany's been meeting someone else. I gripped the phone, heart pounding. Who? He paused. Her cousin Marla. My mind reeled. Marla, Tiffany's distant cousin, the one who always seemed too involved. Vance continued. I saw them at a bar. Marla handed Derek a USB. Looked like documents. I hung up, fury boiling. Marla wasn't just family, she was a conspirator. I didn't confront Tiffany or Marla. Instead, I dug deeper. Nora traced Marla's emails, $200 for another hack revealing her resentment. She'd been jealous of Tiffany's life, her marriage, her success. Emails to Derek. She doesn't deserve Brent. Help me fix this. Derek had played her, using her envy to tighten his grip on Tiffany. It wasn't just an affair, it was a web, and I was the target. The conference loomed, and I played my role. Tiffany sensed something, her eyes searching mine, but I gave nothing away. She was out of moves, and Derek didn't know I held the deck. The morning of the conference, I got a voicemail from Tiffany. Brent, I'm sorry. Derek's dangerous. Be careful. Her voice cracked, scared. I deleted it. Dangerous men make mistakes. I was counting on it. At the Raleigh Convention Center, the hall thrummed with energy, 500 investors' cameras rolling Derek's keynote set to stream live. He stood backstage, adjusting his tie, oblivious to me in the crowd. Vance was by my side, grinning. Time to light him up, brother. I nodded, my dossier ready. Derek thought he was untouchable. He was about to learn what falling felt like. The conference was my crucible, and I was forged for battle. Raleigh's Convention Center thrummed with 500 investors, developers, and corporate titans, their chatter drowned by the hum of live stream cameras. Derek Sutter owned the stage, his keynote on urban futures slick as oil, his grin a shield of unshakable confidence. His eyes flickered, he knew a storm was brewing. I stood in the crowd, my dossier a guillotine, Vance by my side, his smirk a silent war cry. This wasn't just about Tiffany's affair or Warren's betrayal. It was about every lie, every scheme, every moment Derek thought he could erase me. Vance nudged me, voice low. He's slipping, Brent. Hit him now. I nodded, pulse a steady drum. Lila had worked her magic with the AV team, a $3,000 handshake for access, and stood ready at her laptop in the wings. As Derek wrapped his pitch, soaking in applause, I stepped forward, voice cutting through the din. Mind if I share a counterpoint? Derek's smile froze, his hand twitching. The organizer, a gray-haired exec named Claudia, hesitated but waved me up. Keep it brief, Kessler. I took the mic, facing the crowd, cameras locked on me. Derek shifted, jaw tight. I'm Brent Kessler, a financial advisor from Raleigh, I began. Derek Sutter sells progress, but let's see his shadow. Lila hit play. The screen blazed not with real estate projections, but with Derek's sins. Forged invoices, bank transfers, emails tying him to a $5 million scam. Photos of him with Tiffany, my wife, in our home. His voice chilling from Nora's bug, you walk, I'll burn you. Gasps erupted, phones flashing as investors recorded. I kept my tone lethal. This man blackmailed my wife, framed me for fraud, and cheated his clients. Progress. He's a lie. Chaos exploded. Derek lunged for the mic, face red. This is slander. He's unhinged. But Lila played another clip, his email to Tiffany. Come with me to Miami. Brent's nothing. The hall roared, brokers shouting, cameras zooming. Claudia grabbed the mic. This is over. Security hauled Derek off, his curses drowned by the crowd. I stepped down, heart pounding, Vance clapping my shoulder. You burned him alive, man. I didn't smile. The war wasn't won. Outside Raleigh's night was humid, the city's pulse heavy. My phone buzzed a text from Tiffany. I saw the stream. I'm so sorry, please let's talk. I ignored it, my mind on Derek's last glare. He wasn't done. Neither was I. I drove to the office needing clarity. Lila was there, eyes bright. You're trending, Brent. Reddit stories is eating this up. I frowned. Good, let it spread. She handed me a coffee. What's next? I leaned back, the dossier heavy. Warren's turn. The first twist hit like a gut punch. At 2 a.m. Nora called. Kessler, Derek's not running. He's at a warehouse meeting someone. I sat up, bourbon forgotten. Who? Nora's voice was grim. Your buddy Vance. My blood ran cold. Vance. My brother-in-arms, my backup. You're wrong, I snapped. Nora sighed. Check your email. I opened my laptop, hands shaking. Nora's file showed texts from Vance's burner phone to Derek dated last week. Kessler's closing in. Keep me clean. A photo of Vance at a bar with Derek weeks ago passing a USB. My chest tightened. Vance wasn't just a bystander. He was a traitor. I didn't sleep. At dawn, I called Vance to a construction site, cranes looming in the fog. He showed up casual, a coffee in hand. Heard you crushed it, he said, smirking. I slid my phone across the text on screen. Explain. His face fell, the act crumbling. Brent, listen. I cut him off, voice ice. You sold me out. For what? He looked away, jaw tight. I owed Derek $40,000. Bad investments. He said he'd wipe it if I fed him intel. I didn't know it'd go this far. I stepped closer, towering. You knew enough. I walked away, his apologies fading into the hum of machinery. Vance was dead to me. The second twist cut deeper. Elise called at noon, voice trembling. Brent, there's more about Tiffany. She's been hiding something. I frowned, gripping the phone. What now? Elise swallowed. She's been meeting a lawyer. I found emails she's been gathering evidence against Derek. My mind reeled. Evidence, Elise continued. She's been passing it to a DA trying to protect you. She didn't tell you because she was scared. I hung up stunned. Tiffany, the woman who'd broken me, was fighting for me. I drove to Elise's where Tiffany was staying. She looked fragile, eyes red. Brent, I raised a hand. Truth. Now. She nodded, voice low. I've been working with a DA for weeks, giving them Derek's files. I didn't want you dragged into my mess. I stared, torn between rage and awe. Why not tell me? She looked away. I didn't want you to hate me more. I paced, mind racing. Tiffany wasn't just a victim, she was a player risking everything to undo her mistakes. The third twist landed like a bomb. Lila texted at midnight, frantic, Brent, someone's leaking your summit dossier to the press. I rushed to the office, rain soaking my jacket. Lila pulled up the logs, an anonymous email traced to Marla, Tiffany's cousin. My gut twisted. Marla, Lila showed me the email. Derek's scam is bigger than you think. Ask Brent Kessler. Attached was my dossier with notes in Marla's style. But the kicker. She'd added her own files texts, proving she'd been Derek's mole, feeding him Tiffany's secrets only to turn on him now. Marla wasn't just jealous, she was flipping sides, exposing Derek to save herself. I didn't confront Marla. Instead, I built a trap. Nora hacked her accounts, $400 for a dark web contact revealing emails where she'd egged Derek on pushing him to blackmail Tiffany while playing the loyal cousin. Her motive, envy of Tiffany's life mixed with guilt. She'd betrayed her own cousin, then tried to redeem herself by leaking the truth. It was a mess, but it gave me leverage. The fourth twist was a blade. Nora called at 3 a.m., voice tense. Warren's not just dirty, he's desperate. I sat up, pulse spiking. What's he doing? Nora's voice was low. He's meeting Derek's fixer tonight, trying to pin the scam on you and Tiffany. I opened Nora's file emails, recordings proof Warren had funneled $900,000 through Derek's firm, using my portfolios as a shield. If it stuck, Tiffany and I would both be ruined. Warren wasn't just a traitor, he was a coward sacrificing us to save his skin. I didn't confront Warren. Too risky. Instead, I planned my endgame. The firm's board meeting was in 2 days, a closed session with 15 execs, my stage. I spent 48 hours preparing. Lila and Nora compiled a fortress, Derek's $5 million scam, Warren's $900,000 bribe, Vance's $40,000 deal, Marla's double-cross, Elise's past. I didn't tell Tiffany. She was a wild card, her own battle with the DA unfolding. The morning of the meeting, I got a text from her. I'm testifying tomorrow. I love you, Brent, always will. I stared at it, torn. Love. After this, I didn't reply. The board meeting was my reckoning. I walked in, dossier in hand, Warren at the head, all smiles. Brent, good to see you, he said, oblivious. The exec settled, expecting routine updates. I stood, voice like steel. We need to talk about integrity. Lila patched in, remotely lit the screen. Derek's crimes, Warren's bribes, Vance's betrayal, Marla's schemes. The room froze, faces paling. Warren stammered, "This is absurd. I played his email, pin it on Kessler. He's expendable." The board erupted. Warren shouted denials, but the dossier was a noose. Security escorted him out, his empire crumbling. Derek was arrested that night, his warehouse raided, his fixer flipping to the feds. Warren faced charges, his legacy ash. Vance sent a letter from Charlotte begging forgiveness, but I burned it. Marla vanished, her betrayal public, her redemption too late. Tiffany's testimony sealed their fates, 18 months for Derek, probation for her. My portfolios were cleared, my name untarnished, a promotion dangled. But victory tasted like rust. I'd won the battle, but my home was a ruin. I met Tiffany at a park months later, the oak trees casting long shadows. She looked different, quieter, raw. "I'm rebuilding," she said, eyes steady. "I don't expect you to stay Brent, but I'm trying to be the woman you loved." I studied her, searching for the spark we'd lost. "I don't know if I can," I said, voice raw. She nodded, tears brimming. "I'll keep trying. For you." I walked away, her words a weight I couldn't shake. Lila became my rock, her wit a lifeline, though nothing romantic sparked. Elise rebuilt our trust over coffee, her honesty a quiet anchor. I threw myself into work, landing a $7 million portfolio that cemented my name. At night I'd sit by the window, bourbon in hand, replaying Tiffany's laugh, Vance's loyalty, Warren's handshake. Was I right to burn it all down, to expose them so brutally? Or did I lose more than I gained chasing justice over love? Months later I saw Tiffany at a jazz club alone, sipping gin. She looked like herself again, strong, real. She caught my eye, offered a small smile. I didn't approach, but I didn't look away. Elise said Tiffany was mentoring young designers, her business clean now. I kept building, forging a new life, scars and all. The pain shaped me, but it didn't break me. I'm still here, standing tall. What would you have done? Would you have fought, forgiven, or let it all go? Can love survive a betrayal this deep, or is it better to walk away and rebuild alone? You're here because this story meant something. Don't scroll away without leaving a thought in your subscription. Revenge Forge is where real stories find their voice in yours.